bring in Nile Gardiner right now. He is former UK Foreign Policy Director under Margaret Thatcher and Director of the Margaret Thatcher Centre for Freedom. Niall, we're happy you're back with us because ahead of the vote, you were saying, look, lose the hysteria. There's not so much hysteria if the UK votes to leave the EU. In fact, it would be a good thing. You're a happy man this morning.
I certainly am, Maria. I think it's a great day for Britain, actually. You can smell the freedom in the air here in London. There's been a lot of celebration. And I think that, today Britain has retaken its sovereignty. After all, this Brexit vote was really about Britain being a free, sovereign nation again and rejecting the rule of Euro elites, rejecting the rule of European faceless bureaucrats who've dictated to Britain for many, many decades. And so this is, in many respects, an Independence Day for Great Britain. And I think that not only do the majority of British people welcome this decision, I think it's actually a very, very good development for the United States and ultimately for Europe as well, because the kinds of changes you're seeing here in Great Britain and the sweeping sentiment against the rise of a European superstate. Across Europe, millions of people share these sentiments as well. This is just the beginning, I think, of the challenge to the European project, which Margaret Thatcher once described as the greatest folly of the modern era. Yeah,
you had said yesterday when you joined us, or 2 days ago when you joined us, that you wouldn't be surprised to see countries phoning up the UK and say, we want to do trade immediately. You think that the UK is going to be in the front of the line. So what is your reaction to Donald Trump just there a moment ago saying, look, the UK has been a great ally for the US and they will be in the front of the line when we do a new trade deal. Yeah. That's what we're going to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, he spoke a lot of sense there, actually, and, he pointed out that, Great Britain would be at the front of the queue for a US-UK free trade deal. It's also the same message that has been sent by Senator Ted Cruz, also by Paul Ryan, many members of Congress. President Obama's intervention here in Britain clearly backfired, and I thought it was an extraordinarily arrogant move by President Obama to come over to Britain to warn the British people that they would be at the back of the queue if they dared vote to leave the European Union. And I was speaking, last night to a taxi driver. Overwhelmingly, the cab drivers here in London are pro-Brexit. And he was telling me that one of the reasons why he voted to leave the European Union was because President Obama came over here and told him what to do.
Wow.
And the British people don't like to be told what to do by figures like President Obama, and that they believe in sovereignty and freedom.
By the way, Vice President Biden made a statement today. He said, we wanted this to go the other way, Simon. So that sentiment coming out of the White House is continuing this morning after the vote.
It's really crazy. I mean, it should go the way that the election goes. That's the nature of democracy. The only thing you wanted in an elected leader or in referendum is the will of the people to be viewed. Niall, want to ask you about allegations of xenophobia infiltrating the Brexit campaign. Is that what it's really about, or is that a side issue? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think that's correct as well. I mean, I've worked very closely for many years with many of the leaders of this campaign, including several of the cabinet ministers who've led the Vote Leave campaign. These individuals are not xenophobic at all. And in fact, Brexit is about making Britain a more global nation. It's not about turning Britain into an insular country. If you want insular, just look at the European Union. Europe today is very inward-looking. Brexit, actually, I think, reasserts Britain as a truly global power. And I think there's going to be a new immigration system brought in post-Brexit, which will be based upon bringing in the best and the brightest talent from all over the world, as opposed to a great amount of unskilled labour from many European Union countries at the moment. And so I think that the Brexit side actually has been extremely positive in terms of its message. It has projected a message about British global leadership on the international stage, and that can only be a good thing, I think.
All right, we will leave it there. Niall, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Great to talk with you again.
My pleasure. Thanks very much.
Nile Gardiner there joining